And we're back. Joining me once again is Petraeus and Bling. And we are going to go straight into seeing Jaedong taking on Terminator. I know there's a lot of people out there who are probably looking forward to seeing another Jaedong game. And I'm sure Petraeus is as well, seeing a bit of a ZVP between you two and the discussion we're going to have around that. It's going to be pretty interesting, I think. What do you reckon of Jaedong's chances of kind of bouncing back after his initial game?
Yeah, we spoke about this 2 series ago. I was pretty hyped. I'm less hyped now, but
after having to delay it a little bit.
Still moderately hyped.
We got to get hyped. Come on, Petraeus.
It's hard work, man. I don't know if Jaedong can do it for us Zergs. I'm interested to see how it will play out. But Bling. I have no predictions.
I want Jaedong to win, just like everyone else. It's going to be tough. Like, he's not as good against Protoss as his other races. And yeah, he's kind of struggled with it throughout the whole of his Starcraft 2 career, which is a bit of a shame. Especially seeing as it's kind of a make or break match right now. So yeah, it's going to be tough for sure. But I think, obviously, he still has got chances. I'm not saying he doesn't at all.
You can't count a man like Jaedong.
Yeah, you can't. He's the man. Some might say he's the dong.
Way.
So yeah, you definitely can't count him out. But I'd say Terminator has the edge. But I'm hoping for a Jaedong win, to be honest. Yeah, it would be nice to see. Well,
Terminator's best win rate is against Zerg, and as you said, Jaedong's his worst win rate is against Protoss. So in the statistical favour, not looking too good for him, but we'll have a quick look at the maps and we'll see we've got Research Station, Catalina and Overgrowth. We saw it was, let's have a look down it, Jaedong got rid of Secret straight away, Terminator got rid of Inferno, Jaedong got rid of Deadwing, and then last one was, can't read it from here, Expectation was done by Terminator as well. So
Expectation, that it was Banks. Expectation
You
loss.
could have just let that go. Come on.
Yeah, he won't allow it ever.
No.
The thing about Bling right now is he will troll and troll and troll.
Yeah.
But what I might have to do to him is when he first came on the scene, he forgets his first interviews he did was with me. And I could troll him by releasing some horrible videos of him that I didn't let out. Yeah, so play a careful game here, Bling. Play a careful game. All right. Starting to worry now, see, the quietness that came out from the quietness.
All right, Banks, all right, God.
I'm playing that card.
We're having a laugh, mate.
It's got personal, see.
Yeah, okay. All right, anyway, moving on to the maps.
Thoughts on the maps, guys?
Yes, pretty much the same maps that we've seen the whole of the tournament. Really?
Yeah.
It's not making much difference now. No. Everyone knows what they're going for.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just Vaani or Deadwing, really, that change.
Yeah.
But,
well, we are going to throw it now because we are being prompted once again. It's going to be going off to Rhett and Caldor. Take it away, guys.
All right, welcome back. We have Jaedong playing once again in a Zerg versus Protoss, and I'm pretty hyped about this one. The last time that we saw Jaedong was yesterday, and let's face it, wasn't really the showing that we expected or we were hoping for, but today he has another shot at advancing in the group. The winner of this series has to go up against Jagji in the next round in the final match of the day. What are your personal expectations for the series now?
I'm once again really hoping that Jaedong can show his old form that we saw 2 years ago. Like you said yesterday, not the best. And now he's playing against a race that he initially wasn't as good as against Protoss. And we've seen him play a lot of Stormhost last year, but it never really worked out for him. So now that he's had like a couple of months to prepare, who knows what he's going to bring to the table.
Well, we're going to jump into the first map already. And of course, yesterday he was going up against the winner of the group. He was going up against Hard, where he didn't really, he couldn't really do anything there. He actually lost both of the maps. Now he's up against a very different beast, though. Down to the bottom of the map, our first map here in the Best of 3 series on Vaani Research Station. It is the Protoss play. It is Terminator. And Terminator here on the map, of course, going up against the only one for Evil Genius. It is Jaedong.
Yeah, and kind of interesting to have this as a first map. Pretty easy, natural base for both players here. I don't think you ever see anything too crazy here, like 9 pool, for example. So this should lead into a nice neutral first game for these two.
Yeah, right now to the bottom of the map, we have the first scouting already moving out. And this, in this case, is only an overlord. So at this point, no early drone scouts. We've actually seen a lot of those in the last few CVPs that we had, especially in the series with the MC and also the one before that. Like always, a lot of early drone scouts to make sure that they know exactly what they were up against, if it's a Forge, if it's a Gateway, or even a Nexus first. This is a pretty straight up map, as you already said, and a lot of Zerg players have been using Swarm hosts here. Even though I have to admit, in this tournament, Swarm host actually not as present as you would have expected.
I'm not sure that we've seen even one Swarm host victory yet, if I recall correctly. I guess Sulky was getting a few of them on the Overgrowth game against MC. Sakshi was doing quite okay with them on this map, but yeah, Swarm host, you would expect them a bit more since they're about to be patched in 2 weeks. This is like the last chance to really abuse the Swarm host. So. But yeah, we haven't really seen it much, but we could see it here. Jaedong opting for that pool first, so not taking any chances at all.
Yeah, playing it quite safe here. Do you think at this point it's maybe also like a psychological thing for him that he really wants to play it just like as safe as possible to not make any mistakes here? I mean, after the loss yesterday, that must have been a bit devastating for him too. We've been talking about him saying that he wants to put all his effort into, of course, that year that he wants to play Starcraft right now, and he, I guess, was expecting a bit of a better performance from himself. So.
Yeah, for sure. I think also Terminator is probably known as a bit of a cheesy guy. He really likes the 2-base all-in. He can't cannon rush like that, so Jaedong just doesn't want to lose to that early on at all.
Oh, we're having now the expansion already built, and Terminator scouting that a bit late. Jaedong successfully hit that one drone that was sent out to build that hatch. Down to the bottom right, we already have the expansion for Terminator now building as well. If you would have to take a guess, how do you think Jaedong is going to approach this map now?
Well, we can see that he took that outer base first, so that's already a big thing. I don't think he's going to do like Snoot and take the very far away third base. He's just going to take his natural, I think. As for openings go, with him getting the scout now on the Nexus into core, I don't think he needs link speed super fast, but he is getting that safety gas. So it looks like he is just going to open with some speed links just from map control, and then from there you could do pretty much anything. There's a lot of viable styles that work against Protoss.
Yeah, I think one of the only matches that we actually have seen on this map in particular now in this matchup was the one that you mentioned earlier. A nice scout gets into the main base just a second before that Zealot comes out. So at least for now, Jaedong has the information there. But yeah, that game between or with Snoot that we saw there, and that didn't really work out for him. He was trying to expand towards the left side of the map instead of taking that in-base position, which we see actually Jaedong take right now to the top right. The hatch just has been started, and the Zerg player of the Evil Genius is still using those Zerglings for the scouting information. I mean, this is pretty big. Getting those Zerglings into the base is, of course, awesome. If they come in just like a second later, that Zealot is in position, there's no way into the base, then you have to use the Overlord there, and there's a lot of potential for the Protoss to actually hide his tech.
And he even gets a probe, which is of course super nice. The Stalker's delayed, and he wants to drop that Stargate, but needs to get rid of that Ling, and he will. So he doesn't spot the Stargate, but he kept the Zealot at home, he kept the Stalker at home, so really nice start for Jaedong. And this Stargate, it could be for an Oracle, or it could be Phoenix. So far, we've only really seen Oracles in this tournament. Do you think we might see Phoenix in this game?
I actually don't really think so. So far, the Oracle plays, most of them at least, have been pretty successful. And well, Phoenix at this point, I think we're going to see an Oracle from Terminator now as well, taking basically a page out of the book of MC. That was actually really impressive how much MC could do with the Oracles in the game that he played against upon, the one that he won then, with I think 13 or 14 of the drones even taken out there early on. Overlord, of course, for Jaedong now down to the bottom right, still scouting that gas that has just now been taken. And now that the Zerglings are finally out of the main base, we also see that Stalker freed up together with the Zealot to do some pressure towards the natural base of his opponent.
Yeah, quite a bit of pressure here coming, and the Zerglings are not out yet. He's losing a drone so far, might lose a second one, does lose a second drone, which is a big, big deal. And actually, Jaedong kind of caught off guard here. He can't lose a third one. That would be really, really bad. Looks like he will clean up that Zealot. 3 drones, actually a third one does go down, and we are seeing Phoenix at home for Terminator. Surprisingly enough, he has not made a Mothership core in this game at all. So this is quite greedy Phoenix play out of him.
Yeah, going for the Phoenix instead of the Oracle here and starting to take down the Overlords, and that is going to supply block Jaedong. Jaedong has one Overlord building, he needs to start a second one, and he does. Speed is on the way for him as well, started after the lair tech, and this time the Zergling's not getting into the base, and there's very little that Jaedong can currently do with the Zerglings here, except for applying some pressure.
Yeah, and actually, the gas that Jaedong took at the beginning of the game, he actually cancelled it just to trick Terminator, and he's now getting his lair. He went for the 6-minute double gas after all, which means he does have quite a nice drone count. He's ahead of Terminator in that. But the second Phoenix is joining up, and soon enough there will be harass everywhere. And it's going to be interesting to see if he opts for a really quick Hydras to deal with this, or just gets multiple Spore Crawlers and goes for Queens.
Now we have a few Spore Crawlers for now, just like saving the Mineral Lines here. The Phoenix is of course already waiting for an opportunity only to take down the Overlords here, but maybe even snipe a Queen. Queen not with enough energy for the inject, so another Overlord dies. I think that was the third one that he was able to get here. And a few of the drones being taken out as well. Jaedong has the drone advantage. How many drones can he really afford to lose here?
Combined with that Zealot that already got 3 drones, I feel like right now Jaedong is taking quite a bit of damage. The worker count is not really increasing for Jaedong. He's still at 49 against 47. You kind of want to make that jump against 60 really quick, and it's not happening right now. He's supply blocked again. He's lost too many Overlords. He's lost drones. He does have a huge amount of Lings. So if Terminator takes a really fast third base, he could be in trouble.
At this point, Terminator is already working towards that third base, has the units in the position at the bottom, places a few of pylons down that he can use for the cannon that is nearly completed now too. +1 attack upgrade is on the way. We have Jaedong going into upgrades too. The Evolution Chamber with a +1 attack upgrade, and he's trying to get into the base with just a few of the Zerglings knocking at the front door. He's actually attacking against this, and there's a lot of force fields and sentries. Nice position here for the Protoss player. Not quite sure if that was the smartest choice.
I don't think Jaedong lost, or Terminator even lost a single sentry, and how smart was it to put a cannon down before he put down the Nexus? He blocked that attack completely, and things are just not going Jaedong's way this game.
Do you think he should have moved back? I mean, I was really surprised that he committed this many Zerglings to it after he saw the cannon and also the position with the force fields. I mean, it was a really good spot for the Protoss player there. He could have just moved back and used those Zerglings later on again.
Yeah, it's always much better to save your units than to just throw them away. And Jaedong now adding the Infestation Pit, getting a few Hydras, so these Phoenix not going to be able to be that much more annoying for that much longer. But the tech is kind of late. I mean, there's 2 more Stargates on the way. There's more Phoenix on the way. There's +1 attack on the gray. Looks like maybe Terminator saw those MC games and saw how much work those Void Rays did and decides, yeah, I want some more of that. But look how many Phoenix he's actually making. This is a crazy strategy.
Yeah, he has a ton of those already. I mean, I guess if you have a really nice Phoenix count, we've seen like crazy matches where a huge amount of Phoenixes took even down armies of Hydralisks. In this case, we're having at the same time now the preparation for a Swarmhost transition happening for Jaedong. But those Phoenixes are still active on the map, still looking for a couple of victims. And of course, the one thing that it does really well is also shut down the entire vision that we're seeing for Jaedong.
Yeah, really nice though. This Overseer Scout, he's going to go directly over those Stargates. And he does actually spot that there are more Phoenix on the way. And what I actually like right now is that he's going Swarm Host. So he can just be defensive for a very long time. And the longer the game goes, the less good Phoenix are in the very late game. So Jaedong does have the tools to do okay against what Terminator is doing here.
And the Phoenixes themselves, they can't really do a whole lot against the Swarm Host, obviously. So the only thing that he needs with that is a lot of Spore Crawlers, and he's building them already. So the Spore Crawler is the perfect, just like stationary defense against what his opponent has in the air battle. We're having also the Hydralisk that can just supplement this very well. And we still have a couple of Overlords, by the way, on the map. Now at the bottom of the map so far, we've seen especially Terminator taking care of all the vision in the middle of the map. At the bottom, Jaedong still has a few units that he can use to scout those bases. The attack at the same time, uh-oh, that's exactly what we've been talking about earlier. The amount of Phoenix is way too big, and the Hydra's trying to get away, but too slow, and a lot of them dying here. Once again, units out of position for Jaedong, and he gets punished for it.
Yeah, really unfortunate that he wanted to use those Hydras to defend that fourth base. That's exactly what Terminator was looking for. He should have just let the Locust clean it up, possibly cancel it, take it later, but play it slow from here. When there's this many Phoenix, you need so many Hydras to not just get dominated, and 2 more end up dying. And so far, Jaedong, this game, it's not looking good for him at all. He's going to have to play it very slow to make a comeback.
He loses way too much here. Most of the Hydras are already gone. There's another 4, and he's getting every single one of them. Jaedong is currently getting taken apart. Terminator is using those Phoenixes like a scalpel right now. It's just cutting into Jaedong and taking every single unit out there. I mean, how many Hydras did he actually kill? That must have been a huge amount already.
Yeah,
look at
26.
that, 26.
Yeah, that's absolutely crazy. And Jaedong, I think he needs to stop rallying his hatches out. And there's actually a War Prism as well. Of course, Jaedong, no idea that this is coming because all his Overlords are gone on the map. And what does he even have to defend? He's getting more Hydras, but between the bases, the Phoenix can just hover over there and kill everything that makes its way down to the natural. So this War Prism is actually going to deal a lot of damage.
Yeah, Jaedong is suffering a lot of losses, and the thing is that Terminator is not only attacking, he's also expanding again, getting a fourth, and the GG as Jaedong just like resigns and taps out here.
Yeah, I have to say, Calder, that was kind of brutal. Didn't really look like Jaedong had much of a chance at all in that game.
I feel like one of the biggest problems that he had here was really trying to defend the attempt of a fourth base with the Hydralisks moving in, and suddenly the huge amount of Phoenixes just took everything apart. If he doesn't do that and just like stays back at home where the Spore Crawlers are and the Queens, I feel with the Swarmos that he has, he can just like be a bit passive, build up a huge Hydra count, and then take that force on.
Yeah, when I saw the Swarm Host, I thought he had the right mindset, because when you see a massive Phoenix ball like that, it can snowball so fast out of control. You lose control once, and they just keep lifting, more than you do in the gym. So it's going to be really, really hard if you do let it get out of control. And Jaedong just stepped out too far forward, and Terminator just immediately punished him. And that looked like a very, very easy game for him.
I mean, the reinforcements always moved in. He had the rally points towards that third base, and the Phoenix were already waiting there. And then when the Warp Prism was in, he knew that he couldn't even get like reinforcements towards the third to help out with that. Terminator was even expanding again, got a fourth base behind this. I mean, there's very little that he can do at this point, but that must be very, very frustrating, because I think he had a really good chance still to get back into this game, up to the point where he really just lost all of the Hydras. I mean, 26 Hydras, he didn't kill a single Phoenix with them, I think.
Yeah, it really was a painful loss for Jaedong. Like, it all happened so fast, a few wrong decisions, and all of a sudden he's down 0-1. One more loss, and this would be an 0-2-0-2 exit from the tournament for someone like Jaedong, who we were all hoping so much from in this tournament. So please, I hope he can turn it around. Like, I want to see more of him.
I mean, he is a fan favorite, but he is having a very, very tough time right now. If he loses the next map, as you already said, he will be out of the tournament without even winning a single map. So he really has to make sure that he steps it up a notch. We're already heading into map number 2 of the series here. And at this point, if Terminator takes it here, we're going to see a Terran versus Protoss in the next round, as Terminator would face Jagchi. But of course, Jaedong still has his hopes up that he can win 2 in a row now, and then put that into a Zerg versus Terran. So let's see if Jaedong can pull it off. Would be really nice if we would see a few more games, even if it's only a third map between the two of them. Down to the bottom right, we have our Zerg player in blue, starting for Evil Genius. Down 1 map in the series, it is Jaedong. And his opponent towards the left side of the map, ahead in the game, was able to take one of the matches, or one of the maps in the series already. It is a Terminator.
Yeah, and not much is happening so far. Obviously, the game just got underway, but already we can see that pylon on the ramp from Terminator, so nothing crazy like a cannon rush probably going to happen. Jaedong, unfortunately, sending his Overlord to the wrong position. But as Jorisar pointed out earlier, this is one of those maps where you don't really see that massive static swarm host play. It's a really dynamic map. You see a lot of mid-game attacks, you see a lot of tech switches, and you see a lot of harass on all sides. And originally, Jaedong is very good at all those things with his brute war mechanics that he still has with him. So if he brings out the spirit of the tyrant that he once was, then things might look okay. But look at that, getting a 14 gas already. So he's hoping to cancel any kind of expansion out of Terminator that would be a little too quick.
Yeah, and Terminator also scouting into the wrong direction, so he's not going to see that early gas immediately. How much do you think Jaedong is really going to be able to do now with that early gas and him going into that speed upgrade?
The fact that Terminator is scouting so late, he's going to drop to 17 Nexus before any gas, I think. So he's going to have a very fast Nexus. And Protoss players always say that this is a super safe way to open. But against 14-14, I'm not sure. So for me as well, this is kind of interesting to see just how badly can 14-14 stop this particular build. Because if it does, then 14-14 is a much better opening than I originally expected.
So the probe is now starting to get into the main base and going to scout what's going on there. So far, we don't have a Nexus placed down, so he could actually even delay that. And it looks like he's not going to start that expansion just yet. He sees exactly what's coming. He knows about the gas. He himself takes double gas right now with 2 assimilators. So it doesn't really look like Jaedong is going to be able to execute a lot of pressure here.
Yeah, so the timing worked out really well where the probe got to the natural over Jaedong before he had the decision to make the Nexus. So then he was able to put down the 2 assimilators immediately and go for the cybernetics core. So it is, in fact, a very, very safe build. If he would have dropped that Nexus, obviously, the Speedlings would have been able to do a lot. As for Jaedong, though, he still doesn't know what Terminator has opened because his Overlords are not close to his base. So he already has to decide, like, hey, am I going to make more Lings or not? And if he does, that might turn out to be a bad decision since Terminator knows exactly what's going on.
Yeah, for Jaedong, this is a really dangerous situation right now. And actually, it looked like Jaedong, he cancelled speed, didn't he? He goes for another base. He goes for 2 more bases right now. We still don't have an extra started for Terminator. I mean, Terminator is currently working under the assumption that there is going to be a speedling, well, maybe not attack, but at least a speedling threat looming over his head very, very soon. So with Jaedong cancelling that out, he has the minerals back to start an earlier second expansion. Do you think that really makes up for it? I mean, right now he's looking at 2 bases and still no Nexus for Terminator.
Yeah, this is a crazy amount of might games. I mean, there are 2 gateways at the front going down. That's how afraid he is of a mass speedling attack. There's a mothership core before the Nexus, and Jaedong with the double expand, taking such a big economic step forward against someone who just now getting a Nexus. If Terminator doesn't do anything with these 3 gateways and does damage with a big push, which he does have the option to, because he has the mothership core, he's going to get sentries. But if he doesn't, then Jaedong is in a great spot.
Yeah. So now those bases are nearly done for Jaedong. We have Terminator finally starting his own Nexus as well. And at this point, I mean, he still doesn't have any additional scouting information. There's nothing on the map for him. He still has 1 probe that is trying to get a glimpse of what's going on. But we have Terminator now in a very similar situation as Jaedong was before. Earlier was Jaedong who didn't know what was going on, who didn't have any overlords in the vicinity of his opponent's base just yet. Made the right call here. Is finding himself in a great spot, even playing now with a double detection, or first of all detection, of course also protection against air units here with the spore crawlers. And for him, this is actually a pretty sweet spot right now. The only thing that he has to deal with is that mothership core.
Yeah, but make no mistake, these spore crawlers at this stage of the game, when you only have 27 workers, are a big deal. That's a 200 plus mineral investment plus the 3 drones that you lose. That's a really, really big investment, and there's no Stargate at all. In fact, Terminator is making 3 Zealots out of his gates that are not warp gates yet. So he's definitely going to look to put on some pressure. And the fact that he made these spore crawlers and didn't get, for example, link speed now, or got a Roach Warren, might really end up hurting here because Terminator is moving out.
Yeah, we have so far Zerglings being produced, and actually quite a lot of those. With the Queens, he should be able to defend against any kind of aggression that we're seeing from Terminator right now. But Terminator has a fair amount of Zealots already.
Yeah, but I wonder if Jaedong doesn't realize that he doesn't have link speed yet, because he's got so much gas and he's making so many links, but he's not getting speed, he's getting the lair. And this is not a good decision. There's so many Zealots and Sentries. There are 3 Queens, which might help a lot, though.
Yeah, the Queens are there, Time Warp is being used, and the Mothership Core actually being threatened by that Spore Crawler. The Zerglings are starting to rush in here. He's starting the transfuse against the Queens as well, trying to put those Zealots with the back to the wall, and more Lings are already moving in. Jaedong is getting another 20 Zerglings at this point, and the Mothership Core is about to die, but just barely gets away here.
Yeah, this is such an intense fight. The Zealots are still alive. The Queens are also still kiting very hard, doing their very best to tickle these Zealots and slowly bring them down, and more Lings are coming in. It looks like Jaedong will just barely have enough with another Queen bringing to take out the Zealots and block this attack from Terminator.
Very well done here. The last of the Zealots are about to die here. Another set of Zealots warped in, trying to help out their brothers, but not able to do so. With 4 Queens, Jaedong has enough, was committing a lot to this, holds the attack. His lair tech is nearly completed. He's taking more gas now, and of course Jaedong is trying to look where exactly that pylon is, looking to take that one down, and has enough Zerglings to pull it off. Queens even starting with the creep spread. Great position for him now.
Yeah, really, really nice. Getting the fast Hydra then with all the gas up on 3 bases. Terminator, I don't think he really has any tech. Like, what can he do from here? He's getting a Forge, he's going to get his upgrades. He will be looking to expand. But with the Hydra then, of course, Jaedong will be able to put on a lot of pressure on the 3rd base.
What would be the best move for Jaedong right now? What do you think he should do? He's at 3 bases, he's starting his tech, he's going into the Hydra den. Should he try to apply some pressure, try to prevent a 3rd, expand himself, get his tech up? What would be his best option?
I think in this game in particular, he's got such a nice lead that putting on a lot of Hydra pressure might actually work. Like we saw it Phil against MC in a different position, but because Terminator is so late with everything, if he just gets a ton of Hydras here and goes for a big attack, I can't really see it at least trade evenly.
Well, at this point, Jaedong is adding also an evolution chamber and adding the range upgrade, so he's not committing to anything just yet. I like that he spread the creep between those 3 bases and made sure that he at least has some creep spread that can help him with aggression. He still doesn't have speed for his Zerglings, though.
Yeah, it really feels like he totally forgot about it, because why would you not want it at this point?
But don't you think that he would have, like, I agree with you, but at the same time, I'm wondering, how would you not realize that once that you defend against the Zealots?
Yeah.
I mean, before that, I can understand that you might be able to forget about it, but once you have to actually fight against the Zealots, you usually immediately see, oh my god, like, I forgot something here.
I don't know, Caller. These guys play so fast. Sometimes the only thing you really look at as a pro player is like the mini-map and then the top right of the screen. So it's not like you're spending that much time, you're just glancing at the battle, you're microing, but it's something that can easily just slip. As obvious as it might seem to everybody else, it can happen in games when you're playing this fast, but it is very unusual.
We're having the Spire now started, and in the situation right now, we have speed upgrade actually coming in for the Hydra list, not for the Zerglings just yet. How important is this going to be for him with the tech chat shows? Oh, there it is, finally, so he starts it.
Yeah, and also we can see he's actually getting that Spire. So I think he's going to look to make a lot of mutas really fast, but he doesn't have that much gas. At the same time, Terminator does have Blink, so I'm not sure I like this decision to go for mutas. If it gets scouted, then Terminator has the option to go for a big timing attack before there's enough mutas to really kill a ton of Stalkers.
So far, he didn't scout it yet. That Phoenix was close, but it didn't get into the main base. The Queen taking it down in time. Jaedong is still spreading his creep here. He's getting his upgrades. The Mutalisks are on the way. Roachborn is now being built too. He's just going for all these upgrades right now. Attack upgrades for the air units, speed upgrades for all of his ground units, and at the same time also adding additional attack. Now the Mutalisks are spotted, or at least the Spire is. So Terminator knows what's coming, and he is immediately moving out with an army.
Yeah, his first response seems to be to go forward. Now he pulls back, but it's really interesting to see what he's going to do. Because attacking might... the mutas are already halfway to his base. Is there even anything in the main? He's going to have to warp in Stalkers immediately to defend. And this gives... there are some Stalkers. I don't think there's enough mutas to fight that. With the blink forward, takes out almost one muta, but thankfully for Jaedong, he doesn't lose it. And he's going back into Hydra production.
Yeah, he's going back into Hydra production and another base. So he's going for the 4th base now. He also knows that there is a 3rd base coming up for Terminator. So Jaedong playing this rather slow, not trying to be overly aggressive. We've seen him already fail with that once. So at this point, he's just like trying to play it safe. We're having decent creep spread for him on the map. He has a pretty sizable army there. 75 army supply against 56. Decent upgrades coming in as well. His economy is looking very good. But for the Protoss player, of course, the upgrades are also not only started by completing. The +2 is on the board.
And this might be very similar to the game we saw MC play earlier, where Sakshi only made about 10 mutas and then went into mass Hydras. And because it's so tempting for Protoss to attack if you see mutas, because if you just let it sit, then they're just going to be a ball of 40 mutas. And by that time, you can't really do that much. And that's why we see so many Hydras, which would be really good if Terminator decided to attack, but he doesn't. So how will this play out now? Terminator has to be super careful. He needs to add tech and just hold tight, sit tight, and not take any bad fights.
What can Jaedong do to break that? Because the positions that we have on the map right now with decent force fields is very dangerous for Jaedong to actually engage here. The Mutalisks are, of course, great to annoy his opponent. He's being a nuisance at this point. But what can Jaedong actually do? Do you think he should just like go in and try to blunt force his way through?
Well, he's going to go straight through the middle. He's trying to pull apart the army and then go straight forward. The forces are a little bit late, but they are good. The Hydras get separated.
At least a few of those, and at the same time, a couple of sentries are already done. If he stays at the top, then he can at least try to shield them away, but now he needs to use a lot of his energy. Sentry count is also low. The Mutalisks moving in again at that natural, taking down even more of the Harvesters. 7 already killed, and still Jaedong driving that wedge between the natural and the 3rd base, trying to just attack here, but he needs to be super careful that his army isn't split.
Jaedong now owns this little area on the map, but of course that doesn't really do anything. He really wants to take out one of the bases, and like you said, he has to be very careful. There's a wall, and so far Terminator doing a good job being patient. And here's a nice gateway wall, so no access there, Jaedong, but the Stalkers are caught in the middle.
Jaedong moving in from 2 sides right now, still having those Mutalisks, trying to take down the Harvester counter of his opponent. We have 58 probes for the Protoss player, 66 for the Zerg at this point, and he is transitioning once again. The +2 attack upgrade for the ranged units is nearly completed, and we're having Jaedong transitioning into an infestation pit at this point.
Yeah, really nice. It's really easy. Oh, actually, he's trying to go up to the natural, but there are sentries waiting. So once again, Jaedong kind of being stopped at the door by Terminator. Looks like, oh, he will get a ton of probe kills with those mutas. 8 more probes going down, and that's the kind of damage that he's looking for.
Yeah, 9 probes now dying, and this is great. This is absolutely great for Jaedong. This is something that that the Terminator just didn't see in that last battle. Also, Jaedong still spreading creep. That minimap alone is just like a dominant force for the Zerg player. He has vision everywhere. He has that additional speed for his units. He knows where to take his additional bases. Another one to the right side. He's still trying to attack here, moving in with the units, taking down a lot of those stalkers, taking really good trades here. 120 army supply. Jaedong is just whittling down the army supply of his opponent, taking Terminator down, who doesn't even have the economy more to warp in additional reinforcements.
Yeah, Stalker after Stalker is dying, and Jaedong finally brute forced his way up into the middle of the map, and 16, 17 probes are down to 18 probes. These mules are worth in gold, and GG. Jaedong ties it up and takes his first map win in the Gfinity Masters.
Jaedong with the first map win here in the series, and he is looking angry, or at least looked for a second there. With the first map, he definitely wasn't too happy there, but on Catalina, he takes it, ties up the series, and brings us into the third and deciding game.
Yeah, and that was a really nice game from Jaedong. He got ahead really nicely early with the mind game. You remember he went for the 14-14 and then got scouted. He totally changed his plans, and it worked out really well for him, even able to stop the Zealot attack with just slow links. So that was really, really nice. And then, you know, classic Jaedong, just the mutas everywhere and the Roach Hydra at the front. And it looked for a while like Terminator was holding, but in the end, it was just too much. And
I mean, that move at the beginning definitely really important for him. I mean, as he said, he was hoping for his opponent to start with an early expansion so that he could execute some pressure with an early speedling upgrade. Even started that, but once he was scouted and realized himself that there was actually no Nexus, he switched completely around, canceled that speedling upgrade, thrown down 2 additional bases, and really got ahead here. Now having Overgrowth as the last map. And well, what do you think in this particular matchup about how Jaedong's chances are to actually advance and take the game here?
Well, I think this is a nice map for Zerg to close out on, definitely. I think this is, well, I always say this, it's a good map for Swarm Host, but these guys are just not making Swarm Host, so I don't know what to expect anymore. But either way, I think it's a nice 2-player map. The oldest map in the map pool right now, so everybody's super practiced on it. And I think it's definitely a map that favors Jaedong a little bit.
Okay, so we're having Jaedong winning the first map in the tournament, and maybe that's exactly that kind of momentum that he needed and that confidence that he needed here. But Terminator is no pushover. We already saw that several times now, especially on the first map, where he played just extremely well with those Phoenixes, with those 3 Stargates. So Overgrowth going to be the last map here. Your personal prediction, who do you think is going to take it?
I still believe in the Dong, man.
You still believe in the Dong? All right. You're apparently not alone.
No, everybody here wants him to win, I think.
Yeah, we heard that from the analysts as well. Even like Bling immediately saying that he wants Jaedong to take it. It's a bit sad for Terminator though. He's a great player, but he just doesn't have the the following that Jaedong has. Up to the top right, we have the evil genius. It is, after winning game number 2 in this third map, it is Jaedong. And down to the bottom left of Overgrowth, the last map in the best of 3 series here. It is the Protoss player, it is Terminator.
Yeah, and you know what? Even though Terminator lost that last game, I still think that he played a pretty damn good game considering how the opening went. Things really didn't go his way. A lot of the time, Protoss players really rush what they're doing, but Terminator just sat there in his bases and just defended, which was the right option. But I think he was just a little bit too far behind to make it work. But he was actually pretty close to establishing. And from that point on, it would have been a pretty good position for him. So I have to give him some props for how he played that last game.
He's going into the same opening again, where he starts things off with a pylon on the high ground and adds the additional gateway, not going into any kind of fort shenanigans or super early next side. Jaedong, on the other hand, is starting to switch things up a bit. This time we don't see him with an earlier pool, but instead going straight into the hatch first, which shouldn't be a problem for him here. We have the Overlord on the map already, 2 of them, of course, starting to get into position and also scouting out the scout of his opponent.
Yeah, seeing that early probe means that he can't really drop another hatch before the pool, because then Terminator could reactively counter rush. So we do see the pool go down. But yeah, like you said, this is a good opening for Jaedong. He gets away with the hatch first, which is always a bonus.
Yeah, and at the bottom of the map we now have the Nexus also started for our Protoss player. Something that Jaedong doesn't really know just yet, because that Overlord isn't here. In this case, Jaedong did not go for a drone scout. We've talked about that earlier on today. A lot of Zerg players actually started to drone scout very, very early against Protoss in this tournament. But right now we're having only the Overlord on the map. We see also Terminator actually confirmed that there is no base just yet.
Yeah, and he's going to block this third base just a little bit, try to be as annoying as possible. But the good news is that, you know, no cheesiness going on. This is going to be a gentleman's fight.
Double gas taken at the same time by Terminator now. Jaedong knows about the opening of the Protoss player. His Overlord has reached the position and he's actually pulling that drone back.
Yeah, that's really, really weird. I didn't expect that. But at the same time, Terminator is scouting again, so he's going to see it. But what could this mean? Why wouldn't he want a third base?
I'm actually not quite sure. I expected him to go for that hatch as soon as he saw not only the Nexus, but once that the probe moved away.
Yeah, me too. Normally, that's what you do. You just delay the queen, you get to third base faster. Doesn't look like any gas is going up, though, or anything. But killing this probe and expanding now would already be something that's nice for him, because Terminator is in the dark.
I mean, Terminator would expect an expansion to go down here now, but you never really know. And it could be Jaedong playing just a completely different strategy here, because Terminator would, of course, also have expected that hatch to start even earlier than that. Right now, Jaedong denying that scout. That is pretty big, though. And he's moving with his own links now down to the bottom of the map. And so far, Jaedong still without an expansion.
And he's actually, he already has 2 queens, and he's adding 2 more queens. So that's kind of crazy. It looks like the link, once again, get in. We'll get a nice scout of the Protoss base. Might even get another probe. Once again, no, the Stalker is out. With a bit of micro, he should be fine. Jaedong just opting to go all the way deep into the Protoss base, confirming there's no crazy tech buildings going on, nothing to surprise him. But as I was saying earlier, he's adding 2 more queens. He's getting his gas timings at a time where you normally get them against Terran at 5 double gas. So this is normally used to play some kind of Ling upgrade style or 2-base Roach, but I'm not sure what it's going to do for him.
But Jaedong definitely has a plan here. I mean, we have him with a third base now start. I mean, obviously he's going to have a plan, but it's definitely deviating from what we would usually see here. The Zealot already moving in and now confirming that there is still no third base. That was, of course, really important for Terminator to find out. We were talking about that probe being killed by Jaedong earlier, and that kind of left him in the dark to a certain extent. Now we have him starting to move in, and the double queen is already at the front, starting to spread the creep out. He has those additional ones that he built going for the injects. And with all those queens, he can, of course, easily defend against this earlier squad that we're seeing from Pro's play on the map.
And this is kind of scary for Terminator because he sees there's no third base. But Jaedong is just opting to go for that 2-base Roach Warren opening, which is something that Dark has been doing in his CVP games. I think this is meant to just be really, really safe against heavy all-ins. At the same time, I feel it's not the most macro-heavy opening you can do. So looks like a bit of a connection problem from Jaedong. Hopefully this will be resolved soon, so we can see what he wants to do with all those roaches he's going to make.
It's actually like the first time that we had technical difficulties here with the season. Not quite sure what exactly happened there. But yeah, this is a pretty interesting opening that we have from here. Definitely not what we expected, especially after what he scouted. But right now, I'm curious if that works out. I mean, for a third map,
yeah, maybe he was thinking, oh, this is such an important map. I really don't want to take any chances. I'm going to play it really, really safe. What we usually see Dark do when he does this, he'll just get a bunch of speed roaches with Burrow. Then if he doesn't get to stop a 2-base all-in, he goes and attacks on the other hand, tries to slow down the third base as much as possible. Then he adds a Hydra den and usually goes into some kind of normal Roach, Hydra, Viper unit composition. But for Terminator right now, on the other hand, it's really important to realize, like, no, I'm not being all-in right here. This is just a slower macro play, and I need to not be too safe. We saw him add a Forge just before the disconnect happened. Yeah. And if he starts adding cannons or anything like that, he also has a Stargate. So what do you think he wants? He wants Phoenix, or does he want an Oracle?
Well, usually I would have said Oracle, but after the last game or the first game, I think that he was pretty happy with how that turned out. So I could see him go for the same strategy again.
Yeah, I also think Phoenix feels like the more safer play, especially when you're still a little bit in the dark. Like, you don't know what's going on. If you make an Oracle, that could just be stopped entirely, and then the Oracle is kind of useless. Like, it kills Zerglings really fast, but against Mutas or against Zergling or against Roaches, it just doesn't do anything. Yeah. Phoenix kills Overlords, so it supply blocks your opponent. It can lift things.
Takes vision
it's
away.
Good against more. It's faster. It can scout better. So it feels like the safer play. And from there on, I feel like this game is probably going in a way where Terminator, if he goes Phoenix, he'll probably just take a third base and go Colossus, which is kind of an old school style.
Yeah, I mean, regarding the disconnect, we don't really know exactly what happened just yet, but we're going to give you an update as soon as we know. So apparently they're still trying to find out what happened there. As soon as we have new information, we're going to let you know, and hope, of course, that we can just hop straight into the game again. If not, then we will have to have the rehost here, which shouldn't be an issue anyways. That's like the good thing that we finally have that. Back in the days when we couldn't even like restart from replay was definitely a big problem. And apparently we have to restart the PC of Jaedong. At least that's what it looks like right now. I hope that will solve the problem there. More and more admins actually running into the booth now as we speak.
Yeah, I remember some really controversial decisions where a person disconnects, and then the one guy's like, no, I was definitely winning. And then the other guy's, no, you were not winning at all. Like, this has to be a regame. And even in some tournaments, people would just pull up the score screen, and whoever has the highest score in the score screen would get to win. And any seasoned StarCraft player knows that the score screen means absolutely nothing at all. And
GSTL finals in Las Vegas, my friend, at IPL 4. That was brutal.
Yeah, that was...
Starthill versus Prime.
Yeah, and what happened was that the Protoss player, who was it?
Marine King was playing.
It was Parting, I think.
Yeah, I think
Parting was definitely winning the game. And it, like, completely over. Like, I was sitting in the audience, every pro player was like, yeah, this is completely over. And then the admin still ruled, like, yeah, this is a regame, just because you can't prove it. Like, in StarCraft, you never know. The game could look completely over. One guy could, you know, make a move command with his whole army. Everything could die. No matter how clear it seems to be, it can always change. So that's why it was so difficult to make those decisions.
Yeah, right now, thankfully, we don't have to deal with that any longer. Finally, the technology is there. So we have that restart from replay now, and we'll definitely have to use that. I guess we're going to jump into a break real quick if there is nothing new from Jaedong, because at this point it looks like it might still take a few minutes here. So it's of course a bit annoying to have that in the third map. I'm not quite sure what exactly happened there, but at least they are going to be able to like take maybe like a minute or two and then focus on that. So guys, we're going to jump into a short break, and we'll be back in just a few with the final map between Terminator and Jaedong. All right, guys, we are back, and well, I don't know what exactly went wrong with Jaedong's PC, but I know that they changed the PC completely. At some point, we just like had a guy with a whole new PC running into the booth. Jaedong took the opportunity to get himself a drink and go to the bathroom. So they are loading up. We should be ready in just a second. But yeah, that was actually like pretty impressive. Just realizing, okay, it's going to take way too long to actually like deal with the problem here. Just get him a new PC and be done with it.
Yeah, and the guy was pretty strong because he was carrying it on his shoulder as well. So. Not bad at all by the Gfinity admins. And you kind of got to wonder. It was the third game, caller. It was getting so tense, and all of a sudden, Jaedong has like 10 minutes to recollect his thoughts, go to the bathroom, save for Terminator. How do you think this affects the players?
I actually think it does. Like, if you're completely in the zone, I think it's definitely something that you... Like, I think for some players it does. Grubby was talking about it at some point, that if something like that happens, he just takes the time to, like, wind down again, just collect his thoughts. But I feel there are a lot of pressure of players out there that are getting into a zone, and if they are suddenly, like, completely out of the flow of the game, it probably affects them quite a bit. In this case, we're going to have to see how both of them are going to deal with the situation here. The situation at this point in time is that Jaedong is now starting with that roach production that we've been talking about. And of course, you already talked a bit about Terminator in particular, who goes for the Oracle actually here and follows it up with his Void Race.
That's a rather aggressive unit to make right now. It doesn't seem like he has much fear at all. And he will try to look for some damage with that Oracle, but Jaedong does have a lot of queens, so if he has them in position, which he does, he shouldn't take any damage, and he will push this Oracle away from his mineral line directly. So that Oracle, so far, not going to get any kills. The third base does go down from Jaedong, and upon seeing that with the Overseer that this is not any kind of aggressive build by Terminator, he's just going to get that third and go for a more normal macro game.
Perfect timing here. Terminator not seeing what was going on there. The Zerglings just waiting for that base to spawn, and there we go. We have already the cancel. Very, very well done here by Jaedong. And he might even get a Zealot. For a second, I thought he might be able to just wrap around that and close that round. But there is, once again, no speed upgrade for him.
Yeah, and Jaedong also getting that Burrow, that Hydra Den. So he's playing very much like Dark has been playing his EVPs. And I'm not sure I like this all that much. On the other hand, if the Burrow finishes before the Nexus goes down, or if he can cancel this now constructing Nexus even once and get a Burrow, that'd be really good. But with the Void Ray, with the Sentries, I think Terminator kind of has enough. And here go the Lynx again, trying to get that Nexus down, dropping a pylon, but no, he will not get it. And also the Roaches at the front doing nothing. So far this opening not working out that well for Jaedong, but he's making more and more units. He wants to get damage done.
Yeah, he definitely wants to, and he did skip that speed upgrade for the Zerglings. He uses all of that gas just now. Oh, and he breaks through actually. That Burrow upgrade helping him out a lot, and he gets 2 sentries already. Very well done. Also dodges the Photon overcharge here. Goes straight to the main base. The Zerglings are once again active with the third base, trying to force the cancel and forcing all of the units that Terminator has towards the right side for the defense.
Yeah, and there's no robotics at all, so there's nothing to detect these roaches from burrowing. The Oracle does get quite a few drones, 5 drones so far at the other side, but more and more roaches are going through the middle of the map, looking to put pressure on that third Nexus.
And now, of course, with a few attempts to get cannons into the game, Terminator is trying to provide some kind of detection, but that main base could be attacked once more, and we're having a very dangerous situation for the Protoss player here, who loses another 2 sentries. And those are so expensive. In the main base, if you can snipe this just one cannon attempt, would have leave him in even a better spot now.
Yeah, this is a super, super tough spot actually for Terminator, but the cannon does finish, and Jaedong really didn't do anything with these roaches. There's multiple fights happening at the same time right now. This is a very tough spot for the Protoss. How can he ever defend a lot of burrowed roaches without detection? He does bring back the Oracle, which is really, really nice. It can spot the burrowed roaches, and for now he will actually hold on. But and Jaedong now going into Hydra, so there's a stage 2 of this attack definitely coming.
Yeah, at this point we're having still with a few roaches in the main base. There is that one Void Ray that needs to be careful about, that Jaedong just like has to be worried about, and that Terminator put down for that particular reason. But that also means he can't use the Void Ray with the rest of his army. In terms of army size, we're having 50 against 43 in favor of Jaedong, who takes another base, goes for that gold expansion, and is already on the way to get the +2 attack upgrade, as is Terminator.
Yeah, Jaedong definitely transitioning, and what a great decision by Terminator to just not get the Robo and just rely on the Oracle for defense and allowing him to warp in more units. For a while there, it was really looking super scary for Terminator with the amount of roaches that Jaedong was making. But it looks like now definitely Jaedong is transitioning with all those Hydras, with the +2, once again moving forward. If anything, not to attack, but to just make Terminator really worried. about an attack. The worker count is actually a little bit worrying, though. It's 69 for Terminator, 68 for Jaedong. So Terminator, amongst all of this, did an excellent job getting up the 3-base saturation.
And it looked for quite some time that he would have to cancel his third base again, which was not the case. He defended very well against this, but he lost a fair amount of sentries in the process. We have now once again Jaedong trying to get an even trade for those roaches, not taking down the Stalker just yet. Might have gotten it in the end. Oh, but over here, the Hydra is now finally with an approach to take down these units, sniping the first Void Ray, and we already have Time Warp being used. The force fields are decent, zoning out a lot of Jaedong's units here, but once again, it's those sentries that he's trying to kill, and he's getting 2 of them right off the bat and kills a third one as well.
Yeah, nice force fields, but there just isn't that much firepower for Terminator right now. And look at the mini-map. More and more red units are coming across the map, and Jaedong here with this Roach Hydra is looking very, very poised to take this map 3 win and move on in his group. He's splitting up his army right now, depleting more force fields from Terminator, and Terminator has to defend everywhere. And he's losing his third base Nexus.
The third base is going down. Jaedong with so much pressure, and the problem for Terminator is still that he doesn't have the sentry count and the energy for the force fields that he would need for this defense. Oh, another Void Ray goes down. Jaedong moving in at the natural right now, taking down the Stalkers, taking down Terminator here. The 106 supply against 90. Jaedong with a map win on map number 3. Maybe if he can force this down as well. He has that gold base. It is mining. He's going in for the kill after losing the first map. It looks like he's going to be able to win 2 in a row. We have Dark Templars right now, but those are being taken out too. No chance for Terminator to come back into this. Army supply is down to 10, and he's just trying to cope with the situation here. GG is called, and Jaedong takes the victory and moves on in the group to face Gfinity.
Yeah, and he's looking quite relieved that he managed to take that series, and I'm very happy that he did. After the first map, he was not looking so good. He kind of got destroyed, and now it looks like, yeah, we saw Jaedong the fighter. He did pull it back with the 1-1, and eventually a really, really impressive last game. The Roach Burrow just keeping Terminator busy, and then he just exploded with so many Hydras and just kept attacking, and Terminator just couldn't do much about it.
And Jaedong's still looking extremely focused here. He knows, of course, this was only the first step. He needs to win another best of 3 to advance in the group. He needs to take down Jakji, the next opponent.
Yeah, and that's definitely no easy feat, especially considering Jakji has quite a nice EVT, and Jaedong did not look so good against Hart earlier. But like you said, after he won that 1 map, maybe that was just the confidence he needs to move on and play his best game from here on out, because he looked really, really slick in the last one. And I hope he can keep going like that against Jakji.
Jakji and Jaedong, of course, getting ready for the series now. But before we're heading into the next best of 3, let's throw it over to Bangs and the boys, and let's see what the analysts have to say about the last best of 3 series here.
Thank you very much, Caldor and Rhett. Well, Jaedong coming off with the win there. Kind of proving us wrong again. We're not doing too well on these predictions, lads.
Oh, yeah.
Look, he's just so happy now.
I mean, I didn't make a prediction for this series.
Okay,
I specifically
you
said...
stayed out of it.
But that was only because...
Petraeus is being smart now. He's just like, I'm not making bets. I'm just going to play it calm and cool.
Yep.
He won, man.
I know. It's a hype moment. Could we see Jaedong now come through and take on Jakji and go, look at that. Bling is motivated for the Jaedong win, and that's what he wants to see.
I'm happy. I'm happy because I know everyone else is happy as well.
Yeah, chat's probably just shouting dong, dong, dong all the way through chat right now.
Yes, we love the dong.
I bet you do. We'll go straight on to looking at the games, and we'll start with you, Petraeus.
Yeah, the first game was pretty miserable, honestly, from Jaedong's part. So that was a hard sinker, but also like it felt like that was the way it was meant to be. But then I don't know, he turned it around really well. With Catalina, obviously, it was similar to I think Saxry's style, where he just went and made the initial meters and then went into Roach Hydra. And that was really good. And then the next game was some really weird. Rhett mentioned that it was a dark build. We saw dark to it in the GSL against Pardin in the finals. Just like some weird 2-base speed roach with burrow into huge amounts of aggression. And it really didn't work against Pardin. But against Terminator, I don't know, he just got a lot of momentum breaking into the natural. Once you have like little pockets of roaches burrowed everywhere, then it really gets easy to kind of get out of control for the Protoss. But no, it was really, really nice series, and I'm impressed he came back after losing the first map. He'd already lost 0-2 in the previous series, So yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about his series versus Jiangxi as well.
Bring the Jaedong hype. That's what it's all going to be all about right now.
Yeah, man. I feel like after that win as well, he's going
to... You're feeling like he's going all the way.
He's here, man.
Your face
here.
screams excitement right now for this.
It's good, though, isn't it?
No, it's fantastic news to hear. But you've got to feel sorry for Terminator. Obviously, we had high hopes for him. He's done well online. We've seen regular good games from him. And then he comes here and doesn't quite perform. And it's...
Yeah, I mean, obviously he did come here as a replacement, so it was kind of like a...
Last minute for preparation.
Yeah, so I guess he didn't really get to prepare too much, but at the same time, he should have been more relaxed, I guess, than other players, because he's just kind of, yeah, like, I'm here. I wasn't meant to be, yeah. So, but obviously, like, his first series, it wasn't that great, as he did lose 0-2 to Jiangxi, and obviously he did make a few mistakes there. But in game one, it did start off very, very promising, and even though it wasn't like a straight up strategy, like, it's not too often that you see kind of like triple Stargate Phoenix. You don't really ever see that, to be honest. And then obviously when Jaedong did lose that, I was like, man, like this isn't meant to go like this. But obviously I was expecting Terminator to just be like, yeah, like kind of toy with him a little bit. I was expecting him to win. But yeah, the fact that Jaedong brought it back is pretty cool. I mean, in game 2 especially, like, it didn't look good as well. After that terrible game 1, and I've got to say it, even though it is Jaedong and we love Jaedong, it was a terrible game 1. But in game in game 2 as well, obviously he started off with a speed opener. But yeah, what I really liked is that he didn't commit to, like, he could have committed to it, he could have got the speed and yeah, whatever, went with it, but he didn't. He cancelled the speed and then he went for 2 extra hatcheries, and the way that Terminator reacted was such an overreaction anyway that it even put him even more of a deficit that Jaedong didn't even commit to it, which was really, really cool. So after that, I felt like, yeah, the Dong's back. And yeah, as we saw in game 3, it was another straight up win, which was cool.
Now, I was looking back at some of the games and what Jaedong's been doing recently, and he's been playing and hammering a lot of cups back to back, and obviously trying to deal with all the different play styles and who he's coming up against. I think that's going to see him I think he's going to need this for Jiangxi, because Jiangxi against Zerg, very high win rate. Jiangxi right now, we've seen him playing games very well. What are your thoughts on this, guys? How do you think this is going to
go? Prediction.
Hey, we're getting a prediction from you.
No, we're getting one, yeah.
Yes.
Jiangxi. I say this with confidence.
Ooh.
But, you know, my heart begs to differ.
So you've got the heart of a Zerg, but the team alive with you.
No, we've already been through this.
Oh, you're not doing the team.
No.
He's not doing the team. There's no loyalty from me. No, she's like, don't care about the team. They're a good team, but that's it.
What is team?
What is team? There's only Zerg and my own thoughts. Bling.
Yeah, I guess. I think it's because I think Terran are pretty good at the minute.
Just it's Terran.
And Jiangxi's good. But at the same time, Jaedong always goes into each series with like a killer instinct. And he looks like he's a killer. Everyone always says that. That's what he's kind of known for. He's got this kind of death stare. But now that he's got a bit of momentum going into the next series,
he can start running with it a little bit.
That's only going to get better. That's like that death stare is only going to get more deathly, and I feel like he's going to be really, really motivated to actually take the series. So even though I feel like Jiangxi is the favorite, I want Jaedong to win, obviously.
Well, we've got the groups up. Terminator has been eliminated now. Now, when we had the interview with Hart, he told me that he really wants to see Jaedong come up and go through this. And he said the reason for that was obviously Jaedong's age, a respect thing for the Koreans. And I think it's going to mean a hell of a lot to Jaedong and kind of like his fans and stuff for him to make it this far, because it's been a long time since we've seen it.
Yeah.
And this is going to be a big deal if this can happen. But I can't fade away from the fact that Jiangxi looks so strong right now. He looks like what we saw like a year and a half ago. This is the Jiangxi that we know.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
This is, I can't say, like, I know, Bling, you're loving the whole thing. It's like, Jaedong, yes.
Yeah.
And I'm sure chat and Twitch and everyone watching is doing a similar thing. But realistically, this is going to be tense and this is going to be close.
Yeah, for sure it's going to be. But that's why, obviously I do want Jaedong to win, but that's why I was like, yeah, Jack G is playing pretty good.
Damn it, he's good. Like, damn it, we don't want this right now.
Even though he did lose the series against Hart, he still played pretty well in it. So, yeah, it's going to be tense. It's going to be very, very tense for all the Jaedong fans. So I guess it would be exciting though. It'd be exciting to watch.
It is going to be extremely exciting to watch. Guys, we're going to take a quick break and then we're going to be coming back with Jaedong taking on Jack G to see who's going to make out of the groups. This is going to be a killer game, so don't go anywhere, and we'll be right back from the Gfinity Arena.